We're about a lot late now.
I got a
Last time I was
phone to pick with you, but I want to ask you about something you said last meeting. I wrote it down to call you, and I never did it.
All right, I'm opening the meeting for the tourism department. The first thing is on the agenda is a report on op tax by our treasurer, Mike Swan.
Just passing out the bad news here.
What do you need?
If you have to. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. As you'll see by what I passed out, the collections for the last 12 months are down 9.79%. That's almost a 10% drop. The last time I reported to you, we also had a drop in the revenues. I'm not sure what's really driving this, but I am concerned about it. This is why we have a reserve, so that in case something like this happens, we have some money to keep things going. One thing that my staff and I have decided that this is a perfect opportunity to try to look at what's going on out there as far as the collections. And for years I've been trying to get the Office of Taxation and Finance to give me information about how much these resorts pay in sales tax, so that we could kind of look to see if that's comparison to what we're getting in occupancy tax. Through a kind of a weird circumstance, I actually got access to that information through the controller's office. So we are now, my staff and I, we are now getting this sales tax information from these resorts, and we'll start comparing it with what they are reporting to us and sending us in occupancy tax to see if we're actually getting what we're supposed to be getting.
I have a question.
Yes.
How much of this do you think is impacted by everybody who's doing these short-term rentals now that don't collect occupancy tax?
I have no clue.
I mean,
I really don't, because I don't know how much that, we don't have a handle on how much that short-term rental is.
but there's a lot of people now who are converting their homes into short-term rentals. It's all over. I mean, it's, it's hit our community, a lot of these communities, and they do not collect occupancy tax. And it's getting more and more and more.
I have an Airbnb connection, and I don't have it with me, but at my desk I have a snapshot for 2015 that has the number of rooms and the amount collected and the number of room nights and all of that information, so I'm happy to share that.
But if people are shifting from hotels and motels and they're going to these short-term rentals, that's going to impact your...
I have no idea. I have no handle on that. The only thing, if I had some staff time, we could go out on the internet and look at those, and might be able to get a handle on that.
Well, you probably can get it if you just call the communities, because I know that our code guy did a search, and I'm sure Lake George, which passed the law, already has the information, Mike, so it should be available to you pretty quick. I don't know about Queensbury, but I know...
I wasn't aware that you could manipulate.
Yeah, we did a search, and I don't know about Chester or the other towns, but it's starting to impact.
Yeah, we looked at that, Joanne and I looked at that last year when there was an uproar on the amount of bed tax. And Joanne had what was it, about 600 and some, I think, and don't hold me to the right number,
Considerable number,
that are renting in the Lake George area.
Right, and I just think they go to the short-term rentals, they don't pay occupancy tax, and they don't collect occupancy tax.
I think we can look into that Airbnb connection a little bit more, though, because it's a relatively new community compact agreement where they will report to us if a property in our community is collecting an occupancy tax. They collect it, Airbnb collects it, and then they would in turn return it directly to you. So I do have I can talk to you and give you some more information on that.
Great.
Doug, is that you?
Yes. Thanks. Wouldn't it, common sense would say if the short-term rentals are going up, which I totally believe, because I hear people say, oh, I'm going to do this and that, our occupancy rate henceforth would probably decrease.
Right.
And I think you said, Joanne, last time that we were down a little bit, I believe. So that makes sense. And then if they're not required to pay the occupancy tax, obviously, this fund will go down. So all those two things should be proportional. The occupancy rate with
And in Essex County, just effective January 1, 2016, they are collecting occupancy tax on private rentals. You know, it's not something that could happen tomorrow in Warren County, but it's something to talk about that our neighbors to the north are doing, are collecting. You know, it's more work, but, it's worth exploring, I think.
All right, any other, yes, Mr. Liggett?
How is occupancy tax revenue budgeted? Do we work from the previous year's numbers into the current year's budget?
Yeah, we calculate a year back to do the budget, right.
Okay. So that these numbers that we're seeing now will affect the 2017 budget?
Right.
Yes.
Mr. Vanslo?
Wasn't there some legislation that the governor was proposing to, limit Airbnb advertising, or, I don't know if it made it through, but he had a definite, and again, I don't know whether it's south of, Kingston or something like that, but there was legislation that would impact their ability to advertise. Factor in the growth of their popularity.
I don't know an answer to that.
I haven't heard about it.
I haven't heard about it. All right, any other questions to the charges before we move on? All right, Joanne, I'm gonna let you handle the request for vacancies, positions filled.
So there are now 2 vacancies available in our department. We did talk at the last meeting about, the director position, which has been vacant for a year. And in the meantime, Sue Tucker, who is our tourism specialist, moved to another department. So now we have 2 vacancies. So in a small department, we're a little bit short-staffed. So we would like to bring 3 positions to the committee today to have you consider. All 3 of the positions are essentially backfills. The money is in the budget, and we just really need to move ahead and fill some positions. So the director position would be the first that we would need to consider.
I'd like some discussion on the director's position first, if that'll do it. Ms. Wood, you have?
Make a motion to get it on the floor for
Okay.
discussion, if that's okay.
Can I get a second? Okay, got a second. All right, that's an important position, and I'll just give you my little take on it. I mean, I've been working very closely with Joanne for the last year and the whole tourism department, and I think I couldn't ask for a better team, better cooperation. So it is my recommendation that we don't wait until October and to make a motion to, or get somebody, I won't make it, but, fill the position of tourism director with Joanne, and then we can fill the assistant director now and replacement for one of the people that left the tourism department. So I'd like comment or questions or anything on it.
I agree with you. I think Joanne's done a great job and bringing us to the next level, if you will say, and being very active in just about everything. I see her everywhere, and that's the way a good director should be.
Well, that's the way I feel. I mean, Joanne's been out there, and we've kind of got greater relationships with some chambers, the business people. We've had meetings for months now with business groups, and it's just everything is, to my opinion, in a positive move. And I don't see to go out to, and I'll use this phrase, to get somebody from Oklahoma to come in here and run our tourism department. So I really appreciate, yes?
Yeah, I fully support your recommendation to put Joanne in the position permanently. I think she's done everything we've asked and a lot more. So you have my full support. That's the recommendation, Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Wood?
I would amend my motion. I know I did a motion to fill, but I'd amend my motion now, hearing all this, and I certainly support everything that's been said to appoint Joanne as the tourism director. If John wants to amend his second.
I'll agree to that.
I got a second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Joanne, and we're working with downstairs to get the right,
Right.
I didn't give you.
I do have some resolution request forms here.
We have some,
Sure.
to get the right payment and all this. We're working with downstairs and that'll all be taken care of before the full board meeting. All right, the second one would be,
So my,
Go
my
ahead.
position, previously was Assistant Tourism Coordinator under Kate, who was the director. Going way back in time, Kate was the coordinator. So I've spoken with Trish Nenninger a number of times, and we talked about Assistant Director, we talked about Assistant Coordinator. So the thought was, at this point, just to backfill Assistant Coordinator, which would give someone coming in, a trajectory for some growth within the department. There's a need for, so when I was in that role as assistant coordinator, I was like the jack of all trades. So I have a pretty good understanding of all of the different positions in the office. And I think that we need someone like that now, who can just have a good understanding of how the office works overall. So to start at assistant coordinator, and then in a year or so or two, we look at that again, and that could be assistant director. And I'm not going to be here for 20 years, but you know, a few years down the road, that could potentially move into director. So if we could backfill for assistant coordinator, that would be our next request. There is, Trish Nenninger seems to think there could be a tourism series of civil service exams coming up. So as much as we would like to fill that ASAP, we have to wait and see when the list comes out, and if there's an exam given in September, then she advised that it would be best for us to wait until the exam is given and hire from the exam. So we'll have to work with Trish on that. But in the short term, if we get approval now, we would, you know, work with her and wait to see how the civil service end of it works out.
yes, Rachel?
I guess I'm just a little more sensitive to job titles now that we've gone through this transition with county administrator, and I'm wondering, as we're looking at the succession planning, perhaps it's more appropriate to have a deputy tourism director versus a county assistant coordinator versus assistant director. I mean, really, so that, say you take a, whatever happens, you know what I mean, vacation, whatever, hopefully you're healthy forever, but just to have that person that could fill your shoes, it's an important position, and I think that we need to be careful of assistant versus deputy versus coordinator.
And honestly, I don't know the nuances of deputy versus assistant director, so I would have to go back to Trish on that.
But right now, we have it as an assistant tourism
Coordinator. Which is
and that was,
the position that I was in.
Right, and what I'm saying is, as we found out with our county administrator, without having a deputy, we had no one to step into the shoes of an acting county administrator other than our chairman. So I'm just thinking down the road that perhaps having a deputy tourism director might make sense when you're looking at succession planning.
all right, we'll check that out with Trish, as long as, you know, this is what, we're just trying to move this forward, and I agree with you, and the salary base is on here. And we'll leave that up to Trish to decide. I mean, whatever we do.
Whether I'd be down as soon as the meeting was over, but a deputy might come in at a different salary level than what we had estimated here, but I think they have to do a salary survey to come up with an exact salary.
Mr. Vanslo?
If Trish said there's gonna be a series of exams, possibly we wanna coordinate whatever we change titles to match with those exams.
All right, so we want to move forward as it is right now, and with moving to see what Trish has on this, is that the understanding I have from the committee? All right, can I get a motion? I got a motion, Ms. Wood, got a second? Ms. Vanslo, any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? All right, we'll pass that one. The second, the third one?
Okay, so when Sue Tucker was in our department, we had two senior tourism specialists. And now that she's moved on, we've kind of taken a look at what's going on in the department, and certainly things have changed. She and Ellen have been there for 13 years, so I think some of the job duties and responsibilities have changed. So again, I've spoken with Trish about changing the job title. So at first we were going to reclassify, and then she thought it would be better to just take the old position out of the salary schedule, create a new position, and then so that there are a couple of resolutions to create the new position and then to fill the new position. So our communications assistant would be someone that could work with Peter and I and Tanya to work on press releases, or write blog stories, or write content for, our travel guides and our ads. But they can also, the description would be broad enough so that they could do work within the department and maybe attend some consumer shows or help with updating the guides. So it's not so narrowly focused, that it's just creative work or just, administrative and clerical, but it should ease a lot of the work in, a number of positions within the department.
And Rachel, to your point before, what we envision is having that backup plan within the department. So not just a backup for Joanne's position and that administration aspect, but also, you know, God forbid something happens to me, the county would be, you know, out of luck for a little bit while they found that replacement. So if you had someone in here that's kind of learning the ropes from the start, and then, you know, Peter disappears for some reason, you have someone in there that can transition. And also, short term, there's actually a ton of value that they could provide. We have a lot of businesses that, you know, request to be part of our travel guide, and they don't have the time or resources to, you know, coordinate with an ad agency to put an ad in our travel guide. So this is a person that could potentially alleviate that problem and help those businesses become a bigger part of our program.
All right, Mr.
Yes, Mr. Chairman,
Conover?
thank you. So, we're on to number 2 now.
Right,
correct?
number 11 on the
Yeah.
request form, yeah.
We're on, so in effect, what you're asking to do is to delete a vacant position and create a new
Right.
position, a new titled position.
Right.
And this will be graded higher, lower? What is the grading structure?
I think approximately 7. Sue, the senior tourism specialist, was 6.
All right,
Sue
so
had
you're
been
gonna
there
increase
13
the
years.
grade, but on the other hand, there'll be a new person, so they
It would
wouldn't
be
have the
lower.
seniority. So that probably would represent, some savings.
A little bit of a savings.
But that would be a civil service tested position?
Yes, it would be.
And the assistant tourism coordinator position, is that a civil service tested position?
Yes, it is.
And the,
Director, yeah.
director is also civil service tested, but that one, will be, promotional. The, I just wanna make sure my understanding is correct. In item 4, the assistant tourism, that'll be open competitive,
Correct.
is that correct?
That is
Okay. And the, at least for number, we're on number 2 of item 4, the communication assistant, again, if we were to create that, that would be open competitive.
That would be correct.
Thank you.
Very sound understanding.
And number 3 would...
There's a lot to it.
All right, so first we have to vote on creating the position. So I need a motion on that. Did I get, Ms. Wood?
I'll make the motion.
And did I see another hand to create? Mr. Conover. Any other questions on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's passed. Now, we'll move on to the next one, to fill that position. That's form number 12. And to, I need a motion to fill that new position. Go out.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, very good. Get a second? Mr. Conover.
Well, just,
Mr. Stroud made the motion, Mr. Conover seconded.
With one question, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman?
one question, go ahead.
So item 3 is to fill the position that we just created in item 2. We're not creating a new position.
No,
That is correct.
Okay, very
but
good.
we're gonna try to
Just wanna make
talk
sure
about the title of it.
Make sure I'm clear on this, okay, good.
All right.
We thought about reclassifying the position, but Trish recommended deleting one and adding a new one.
All right, so any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's passed. All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Do we need to make a resolution to delete that other position, or does that come up somewhere else?
I don't think we have to, no.
Okay.
Thank
We
you.
don't. That's all in one. We're deleting one and creating another. All right.
Okay, the annual review, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on, but historically, Kate had created an annual review binder, which I believe has to be, on file with the Board of Supervisors in the minutes. If anyone would like to look at it, there's a volume of information in here, and I refer to it all the time, reports and where we spend our money and our budgets. So, for the record, this will be on file with the Board of Supervisors. The next item would be the BB&G update. I know that many of you have spoken with Deborah Gary, so she has provided, an outline of what the work she's done so far, and the report outline is pretty much her scenario for the rest, of the time that's remaining, the work that she's done so far, and then, on the back of that first sheet, her recommendations moving forward. I think she was just here last week. I think she's gone above and beyond almost, to meet all the questions in the RFP, and to Evelyn's motion that we request, we have a second RFP for data services. I think she's trying to provide as much as she can. We went out and purchased additional Smith Travel reports for some of our peer groups so that'll give a report for the last 8 years that she can make that comparison. She's looking at other models, so we're a government agency here. There's the Roost model up in Essex and Hamilton counties. There's the CBB model. She's going to look at those and make a comparison as to how we operate and the others operate. I know she's looking at Canadian trends in addition to domestic trends. She's done visitor surveys. She's going to survey our host list of 140,000 emails, so that would be her visitor so it's a visitor survey and then an internal property survey. So she still has a lot of work to do, but I think when she comes back, it's going to be a very comprehensive report. So in terms of moving forward on a Step 2 RFP, I think it's too early to do that now, because I think she would really, she's attempting to meet all of our concerns and questions. And there's still time, if anyone here has not spoken with her, it might be a phone conference. She's been up here several times, but I think she's reached out to each of the communities. She's got a good pulse on what's going on in our county, and I've been very happy with her work so far.
All right, any questions on the report? Anybody, I mean, I know you just got it, but you have any questions?
Or
come
stop
down
in
and see
anytime.
us.
Read it over,
Yep.
stop in, ask some questions.
The only other comment I'll make on the Smith's Travel Report, which Lisa keeps us all up on. I was with a bunch of other tourism people at a dinner last night in Saratoga, and they're down 12 straight months in occupancy, down. And according to Smith's Travel that we're getting, we're down a little here and there, but not, I mean, they're down like 20% in some months. So I think they got the same tax problems that we're going to be hearing about. So I just think, just so you know that I was surprised to hear them bring it up, and and I keep an eye on the Smith's Travel Report, and according to that, this year we've done reasonably well compared to some surrounding communities. I don't understand why the occ tax is down so much, but I'm hopefully it'll catch up. Mr. Liggett?
Thank you for this. What's next after June 24th? What did you say?
Well, I think at this time she's just needs to process all of the information that she's taken in, and I think there's more outreach to some of our other communities so that she can compare their operational structures. I think she needs a lot of time at her desk to put all her thoughts together and start writing the report. August maybe, for another report. And I can update again if we have another committee meeting next month, certainly.
All right. Any other questions? We'll move on to Tanya, group tours.
I'm just going to give you a quick update. The 2017 group travel planner, which is the most comprehensive piece that I do annually as far as using it as promotion to groups. The bid for print specs, the bid went out to, I think, 7 or 8. Some local companies, one Canadian company, and we have a July 15th deadline, I believe, for that, so mid-July. We are going to redesign. We typically redesign every year. We are going to incorporate the original vacation theme and story in the book, because it does pertain to group travel as well. Plan to increase some of the itineraries because they were very well received in the 2016 book, and because I feel that attractions are really the main reason, people come to Lake George. Of course, hotels are important because they need somewhere to stay and they need somewhere to eat, but the attractions, the events are the things that really capture people's attention, we are gonna increase their ad space to a half a page this year. So, a little redesign, a few more things added, but, this just went out in the last couple of weeks, I've only had a couple of replies, but it will definitely increase the size of the book this year, with the increase in the ad space plus the itinerary additions. Other than that, something that we haven't done in the past is co-oping, as far as group travel. I am going to be attending Destinations Travel Show in September, which is the show that we had in Saratoga the last 2 years. This year it will be out in Syracuse. We typically don't co-op with Warren County suppliers. We go on our own and we kind of represent everybody as well as we can, but trying something new, and it was well received. I have 6 suppliers who are going to attend with me. We haven't got to the point where we're sat down and discussed what we're going to do, but we're going to have at least 4 or 5 booths. We're going to open up the pipe and drape so that we're more received as a group. They had some great ideas from an essay show that they did together down in Saratoga, which is more a meeting show, but they had some great ideas, so I'm looking forward to working with them and representing Warren County to the group market as a kind of united front, so something new for us this year.
All right, any questions to Tanya? Yes.
What are suppliers in this?
Suppliers meaning partners that actually cater to the group tour market. So I have the Sagamore, I have Fort William Henry, Holiday Inn, Lake George Steamboat Company, Adirondack Winery, and the Queensbury. So nice, attractions and hoteliers that will go and represent Warren County.
Okay, moving on, it's the Specialist Event Coordinator. I see Mike Consulo's not here, but Kristen Hannafin is? Oh, you are back there. I'm sorry, Mike, I didn't even see you hiding there. Want to give up, have much to say?
Chairman, what I'd like to do for this report is defer to Kristen Hannafin. Been in the position for all of 3 weeks now, and very happy that she's here. But I'm going to turn it over to her.
Kristen, would you get up to the mic after you hand that out? Yeah.
I got one, Kristen. Oh, no, these are updated.
These are updated ones. I did email out,
Do you want me to pass while you?
yeah, if you don't mind. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, so what I'm passing out right now is actually the CBB report that I had emailed out last week. There are some updates to this. In the essence of time, I'm not going to go through everything, but as you can see, over the last 3 weeks I've been busy, moving things along, and just want to give you some of the highlights right now in terms of what I've been doing, what our office has been doing in the last few weeks. On June 2nd, the New York State Destination Marketing Organization group met in Saratoga for their quarterly meeting. A lot of great discussion there. Most of it was focused primarily on the Connect Marketplace, which is going to be happening in Grapevine, Texas, August 24th through 27th. This is a meeting planners show with a lot of different components to it. Primarily, we will be attending on the part of the Connect Sporting Market. We'll be talking with a lot of different sporting and event meeting planners at that marketplace. The collaboration also will include several components to it. We'll be hosting, with the other DMOs, a 90-minute invite-only reception to pre-identified and qualified meeting planners and sporting event market planners. We'll also include an e-blast outreach, pre-event and room drop for Miraclings, which will be going to all of the meeting planners' rooms at the Connect Marketplace, and with the tagline, "See Yourself in New York State," which will have a map highlighting the different DMO partners associated with this program. In conjunction with this event, the New York State Destination Marketing Organization will be relaunching a new website called NewYorkMeetings.com, and if you go actually to the last 3 pages of your handout, you'll be able to see I have some screenshots of that. On the first page, in the very back, you'll see what the homepage will look like for NewYorkMeetings.com. The very top banner there will be a scrolling banner, so it will be highlighting the various different DMOs that are part of this collaboration initiative. And brand new graphics are also being designed, and the entire site is actually being designed by Manic Marketing. The second page that you'll see, it says New York Destinations. This is the actual destinations page. This is where the actual destinations DMOs are highlighted and featured. So this is just the mock-up. You don't see Lake George area in this yet. It will be dropped in there. It will have the phone number. It will have the website.
And so therefore, once you click on that, then you will then go to the third page, which will be the listing page. And the listing page is your third page here. This will feature, here it says Rochester, they were the ones that were highlighted. It will feature the, images of Lake George, it will have the contact information, amenities. I've been working with, Amanda and with a couple of others to drop in content images, video, and that sort of things to highlight all the various opportunities for, meetings and sporting markets in the area. In addition, the trade shows that we attended so far, we were at SA on June 2nd, and Michael just came back actually from the Connect show in Hartford, Connecticut. Both had great traffic. We had several new leads for the Smurf Market and sporting markets for 2017 and 2018. Like I mentioned before, we're registered at the Connect Marketplace and Sporting for Grapevine, Texas, and I'll be working actually with our marketing person to start developing a sporting market sales kit specifically for that show in August. In other news, I'm excited to report that our very own Golden Goal facility nearby here will be hosting FC Bayern München, or Munich, this upcoming week. For those of you that are not huge soccer fans, football fans, this is actually a really big deal. They won the World Cup a few years ago, and they're going to be touring the U.S. this summer, playing exhibition games all across the U.S. With AC Milan and a couple other teams that are coming across the United States. We are lucky in this area that Golden Goal is going to be actually hosting the Northern Camp. This is actually a scouting camp, it's an ID camp for kids ages 15 to 17 that are also part of the Premier League that work with FC Bayern. So Amanda from our office and I will be working with Golden Goal to develop some press around this and really try and highlight some of the great facilities that we have in this area, specific to the soccer facility that's up there that can also host lacrosse tournaments and field hockey. It's really, if you haven't been out there, you really should go see it. It's a great site. Primetime Lacrosse will be coming to Golden Goal July 29th through the 31st. But so far 145 rooms booked so far. The closeout date is this, I believe, Wednesday or Thursday for a lot of the hotels that are working with them. We anticipate filling them up fairly quickly. We've confirmed at this point for the month of June 8 new event bookings, 6 new leads, 2 new possible car shows and annual meetings, an RV event, 2 family reunions, and several new events coming to Festival Commons through Lighthouse events. So moving forward, I'll be working on a number of the other new prospective leads coming in. I'll be working to develop a strategy and plan for us going forward, looking into 2017, specifically targeting certain markets. So I'll be talking more about that at the next meeting in terms of direction and where we're going. So that's sort of the recap of the 5 or 7 page notes that you have in front of you. But certainly if you have any questions, by all means, let me know.
I just want to note, from the tourism perspective, from our department, this CVB contract has never been better than before. A lot of work has gone into roles and capabilities and who's going to do what and how can we partner to work together over the last 2-3 months between Michael, Jean, the staff, and it has hit its stride. This report here is miles beyond what we've seen in the past, confirmation, what's new, room nights, all of that stuff. This is new ground for us, and it's great ground, and it's been another contract that has been unraveled and redeveloped and is much better state than it was before. So thank you to Michael and all you guys for work.
All right, we'll have privilege to the floor. Anybody? All right. A motion to adjourn? Oh, excuse me.
30 seconds?
30 seconds, you got it.
I would just like to take this opportunity to thank our chairman and chairman of the board, our tourism committee supervisors, our budget officer is here, and all of the supervisors for your support, not only of me, absolutely, but the entire department and the work that we've done. This is an exciting time at the department, and to have your support just makes it that much easier for us moving forward. So thank you for that. Stop in any time, ask any questions. I see some of our business partners here too, so thank you all for your support.
Mr. Cassullo?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very quickly, everyone, I think I mentioned it before, but the information center on Northway Phoenix, that has been allocated through the efforts of Senator Bill. exciting to know that, very busy information area about getting a lot of visitations right now will only get better as, we see some of the new sites come on. The next couple of things, the support of the, county tourism and the county itself for allowing us to work down there, Center River for,
All right. A motion adjourned. Ms. Wood? Oh, excuse me, one more hand went up. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, my name is Amy Collins, I'm from the city of Glens Falls. Thank you, Chairman, I just wanted to echo, Joanne's work and Tanya and this group, they are a wonderful resource to me. Actually, Joanne came down to the opening of 190 Grill, and, you know, I must tell you, in my 5 years, I did not see Kate at an event in Glens Falls, so I just wanted to thank Joanne for her great work and continued success. Please come down to take a bite, Wednesday it starts, and, come, can be of help in any, to anybody in Glens Falls, please, reach out. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right, motion adjourned, Ms. Wood. Did I get a second? Mr. Conover, we're adjourned. Thank you.